Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Monday morning. We will get to the Super Bowl momentarily, but first, your Utah Jazz beaten in Orlando 120-117 because they wanted it that way. The Utah Jazz were up by 15. It was the debut of Jerrod Jackson Jr., also John Conchar for that matter, and he hit a big Jerrod Jackson Jr. hit a big three. It was 92-77. The place was going nuts. You could see all the promise. You could see everything happening just the way it was supposed to. And then Markkanen and Jerrod Jackson Jr. and Jusuf Nurkic went to the bench, and the Jazz, who were playing with a ton of size, and it was bothering Orlando, especially in the second quarter when Orlando only scored 21 points. Well, with those guys sitting down, Orlando comes roaring back and wins the game 120-117. So the debut of Jerrod Jackson Jr. and Vince Williams Jr. and John Conchar is a loss, but if you're a Jazz fan, you can't help but see the possibilities. Jerrod Jackson Jr. has a certain gravity out there on the offense end of the court. So does Lauri Markkanen. And, man, they went berserk. Markkanen had 27 points in 27 minutes before he got pulled. Jackson, 22 points in 25 minutes before he got pulled. And as a team, the Jazz, with all that length, all that size, and all that athletic ability, out-rebounded Orlando 55-38. That's a lot of extra possessions. That's a lot of extra shots. Orlando could not get second shots. They only had one at halftime. They only had 3 offensive rebounds in the game, while the Jazz had 12. So, what did the head coach Will Hardy think? Here he is with the media after the game.
Obviously adding 3 new faces into the mix and trying to bring them along. I thought the team competed at a really high level. I thought, defensively through 3 quarters, they had 28 points in the paint. The end of the third quarter, we're up 15 and they made a little run. I thought we got 4 good corner 3 looks and didn't make any of them. But the reality of tonight's game is that they had 39 points off our turnovers. And when we executed in the half court and we're able to keep them out of transition playing off of turnovers, our defense was pretty good tonight. So a lot to be excited about. I thought that, Jerrod and John and Vince did great for their first night with us. I thought the first group playing with Jaren, Lauri, Nurk, Ace, Keontae had a few clunky moments offensively, which is to be expected. But I think there's a lot to build on.
What impressed you about Jaren out there that maybe you didn't know about his game before? Or was it what you kind of expected? He's been a really good player for a while, has shown a variety of ways to attack offensively. Obviously we tried to move him around a little bit tonight, and we're still trying to get a feel for different things that we can do with him. He's got great touch, like that little push shot, half floater, half hook that he shoots with both hands is a weapon. I thought the size that he provides with Nurk and Lauri defensively made it hard for Orlando to score in the paint. He only took 5 threes. I think he didn't settle tonight, which I thought was great. He played with a lot of force. I think there's a lot to build on there.
With him, does the threat of that scoring you mentioned open up things for Lauri?
I would think so. And then there's going to be days that the threat of Lauri opens up things for Jaren. I think having 2 guys that are that size who can both shoot on the perimeter and put pressure on the rim, they may do it a little differently, but I think teams are going to have some hard choices to make in terms of what the matchups are. And so I think I would expect that as we move forward, there will be nights where Jaren is the beneficiary of some of that, and there will be nights that it's Lauri. But I thought they worked well together on the court. I thought Keontae, the minutes he played, did a good job of kind of keeping both of them involved. I think Nurk continues to be a good playmaker for us. I think those 2 are actually a great pairing on both sides of the floor.
Do you know much about Keontae's ankle severity at this point?
Yeah, I don't. I know that he wanted to come back in the game, which is a good sign. But, for his safety, we held him out. Keontae's a competitive kid, and he wanted to come back in. But that play, I think, scared all of us, probably me the most. And so like ankles tend to be, it'll be a day-to-day thing. We'll see how it reacts overnight.
And then John's showed some defensive playmaking tonight. Got a nose for the ball, obviously, with the rebounds. But what does that add to your team that maybe you didn't have before? In kind of the second unit.
Yeah, I think John is a good team defender. I think he's a quick thinker, and so he's in the right spot a lot. And then he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's physical. He's scrappy. This is something that he's done for his whole career. It's great to see it in our uniform. I think he's going to be a great piece for us moving forward because I think the way he plays and the ways that he contributes to winning, he can play with anybody.
There is the head coach, Will Hardy. Now here is Jerrod Jackson Jr., the two-time All-Star, the former Defensive Player of the Year, 22 points in 25 minutes. He shot it well, 9 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, made both of his free throws. You'd probably like to see him at the free throw line more. He didn't get there much, and Markkanen didn't shoot a free throw at all. He also had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Now, Jackson did have 3 turnovers. The Jazz had 24. Just way too many for all the starters except Keontae George, who left the game, only playing 13 minutes, 1 turnover. He sprained his ankle again a second time. I think it'd be best if they sat him out till after the All-Star break, but we'll see how that goes. But Jerrod Jackson Jr., quite the stat line, quite the positive first impression. Here he is after the game.
Honestly, it was a whirlwind, so, I can't wait to have actual practices and learn what I'm doing out there for real, but it was just good to run around.
Yeah, when you're out there with Lowry and Nurk and just the size that you guys brought in the front court, what was that like?
Oh, it was good. They made the game easy offensively and defensively. They were telling me to be active and go to the rim and contest stuff. Try to do that a little bit more in the second half. I thought we were giving up some stuff at the rim in the first half. So, yeah, they just gave me confidence to be myself on both ends. And, yeah, it felt great.
It's only one game in, but what did you kind of learn from this offense so far?
Move around. And just keep moving, like never stop moving. There's always going to be somebody who can make a play and who's going to be a threat. But just keep making the right play, right screen, right pass, all that.
28 points in the paint for you guys through the first 3 quarters. Is that kind of proof of concept for what you guys want to be defensively?
Yeah, can only go up. Just got to be.
28 through 3 quarters?
Yeah, yeah. We just got to be at the rim, make a play, just make those extra plays. So. Yeah.
There's Jerrod Jackson Jr. after the game, and I love the way he talks about it there. Get some practice, know what I'm doing, because I'm just out there running around. And I think you got to look at this 30-game stretch here at the end of the year as this is the pre-training camp. They got a chance to experiment. They got a chance to try different things, try different combinations. Is it best to leave Markkanen and Jackson Jr. and Nurkic out there together and just dominate with the size, the height, the length? Orlando was really struggling to get into the paint and get high percentage shots. And then just totally switch gears, go with a small lineup. Young guys try to run and go with a lot of defensive pressure. Just ask them to go really hard for 5 minutes, get in every passing lane, get up into everybody who's got the ball and is trying to dribble, and see if you can do that. Or is it better to rotate the guys so you always have 2 of the 3 on the court? And that's something Will Hardy's got some time to experiment with. All right. One more player, so we can hear from John Concher right now. His post-game thoughts as he makes his debut for the Jazz, plays 18 minutes, 4 points, 7 rebounds in 18 minutes. That is just outstanding. 3 assists, only 1 turnover, and he had a steal and a block as well. Here's John Concher.
Man, I had fun. Just getting out there, getting out there with the fellas, just moving the ball, just trying to get stops and playing transition.
Yeah, you had a couple of defensive stops tonight that were really important. What's your focus on that end of the court and to impact the game in that way?
Just trying to get deflections, get steals, blocks, get extra possessions for our team, and just run.
It's only 1 game under your belt, but what did you learn from the way this team plays on the court on both ends?
Play hard. It's fun. The ball moves really well. Back cutting, and I'm excited about it. So, yeah, it was a fun game.
What do you want fans to know about you and your game?
Just a defensive-minded guard. I can make the open three. But yeah, just a big-time defense.
What do you know about Will Hardy coming in and kind of how the conversation's been like with him so far?
I'm excited for him to coach me. He's been very good, and just trying to be good on defense for him and go for it.
Kind of the fit between Lowry and Jerrod has kind of been the talk after the trade, just the length and kind of versatility you guys have. But what do you think how that fit kind of in this first game and how it will for the rest of the year?
The defense was good with both of them. I mean, and then Nurkic was out there too with all three of them. That's three big guys. So just going out there and the offense was rolling too, and it was fun.
Do you prefer Jazz fans call you Jitty as well, or is that only in Memphis?
I think there's 7 years of Jitty from Memphis, so yeah, that's cool with me, Jazz fans.
All right, there's John Concher here from another one of the new guys. The Utah Jazz fall to the Orlando Magic, 120-117. The Jazz are back in action tonight in Miami against the Heat. Then they got 2 home games. And then by Friday, everybody will be on the way to their All-Star break and their time off and all that sort of thing. So 3 games left now before the All-Star break, including tonight in Miami. All right. There's the Best of the Jazz postgame show. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's get to the Super Bowl. We'll do that. Stay with us, DJ and PK. A lot of college basketball to get to, too. We'll do that next. Stay with us right here on The Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The Super Bowl is in the books. Seattle, as many of you expected, picks up the win. And I think somewhere Kyle Whittingham is just smiling and nodding because this one had Kyle Whittingham written all over it. Kyle Whittingham has preached forever. Run the ball, play defense, win the turnover battle. The second most important stat is turnovers after the final score. Well, Drake May had a fumble and he threw 2 interceptions. And New England lost. There you go. And they lost at the line of scrimmage because he was getting hit. He really struggled to get into a rhythm. You know, the throw down the middle, I guess maybe it was deflected a little bit at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, he got blasted as he tried to throw another one. You could argue the ball needs to come out more quickly. In the NFL, there's just no time to mess around. You have to, as they say, stay on schedule. And they didn't. There just didn't seem to be any rhythm. It seemed to be a little herky-jerky, and certainly the pressure came from unpredictable places, unpredictable combination of players, overwhelming, outnumbering people on one side of the line or another, and May paid the price and got hit and coughed it up and turned it over, and there you go. So Seattle wins, and they ran the ball better. I mean, there's no way around it. They ran the ball so much, almost doubled them up in yardage. And obviously, Kenneth Walker is the MVP of the game, and he had almost 100 yards at halftime. And we ran a poll on this, and it was 66.9% of you thought the Seahawks would win big, cover the -4.5. Which obviously they did. And another 12.5% of you thought they were going to win but not cover, thought it'd be closer. So, I mean, that's almost 4 out of 5 of you saw this coming. So, pretty predictable. The Seahawks win. I mean, yeah, both teams had the same record and a lot of the stats were the same, but the Patriots compiled that in an AFC East that, quite frankly, wasn't good. You know, Buffalo was pretty good, a little hot and cold. The Jets were terrible, and the Dolphins were all over the map. Meanwhile, the Seahawks did it in the toughest division in football. They had the Niners and Rams right there. They had to play the Niners and Rams again in the playoffs. So they came in battle-tested, and they wore them down and won the game. I mean, 12-0 on 4 field goals after 3 quarters. That wasn't much. And it is interesting at the end of the game how defenses can wear down and offenses can really get going. Of course, defenses sometimes will let you move the ball down the field because they're playing against the clock. There's that. But 4 touchdowns in the game, and they all came in the fourth quarter. And obviously one of them was a defensive score. But the game really dragged there for 3 quarters and then took off in the fourth, which we see from time to time in the Super Bowl. I can think of a few Super Bowls that look like that where it's pretty slow. Actually, one of the most famous finishes 35 years later with Joe Montana driving the Niners down the field. That game, I think, was 9-6 or something with 5 field goals in the first 3 quarters, and then it heated up in the fourth quarter. So, these things happen. And Seattle gets the win. Congrats to them on rebuilding, and now we'll see if they can do it again. Sam Darnold, great story. He's now won, one more Super Bowl than the Jets and Panthers have combined in the last half century. So there's that. I don't get much into the Patriots now have the most Super Bowl losses. Yeah, they got most Super Bowl appearances. They got the most Super Bowl wins. This is like when the Broncos were going and losing. I don't want to go again. Well, if you don't go again, you can't win. And obviously they win a couple more times and they won with Elway. And they won a couple more times with Manning and they won another one. And now the Broncos have 3 titles. And there was a time when they were getting talked about like the Buffalo Bills. But you just got to keep knocking on the door and eventually you get there. And for Seattle, it's another win. They got a couple wins. They got a couple losses. So for a team that really struggled for a long time to get anything going, these last 20 years or so have been pretty good to them. Not bad. Seattle gets the title. So there you go. All right, so there's the Super Bowl. We will have more on that going forward, but we got like 200 days till we have football again. It is on to basketball season, and here we sit in early February. And, in a month we'll be in conference tournaments, and then after that we'll be into the NCAA tournament, and the Utah State Aggies are positioning themselves well. Another win. They kind of mucked it up a little bit, missed some free throws down the stretch, but they eventually win at Wyoming 85-83. All conference road wins are good. That one shouldn't have been that close. I'm not sure why it's a 2-point game when you're shooting 64% from the floor and you're on the road and you shoot almost twice as many free throws as your opponent. It shouldn't be a close game. Now, they missed some of those free throws. They were 21 of 29, 72% as a team, left 8 points out there. Meanwhile, Wyoming, even though they only shot 16, they were 14 of 16, 88%. Some of those misses for Utah State came right down the stretch in the final minute or two and opened the door for Wyoming to sneak back in. They had the ball down, too, with a chance to tie or win, but it ended up with just a wild, crazy scramble at the free throw line. Thought it was a good hustle play by Templin to bat the ball away. If he doesn't get there, maybe that's a scoop and score at the free throw line, if I can mix my sports metaphors, for Wyoming. But Templin gets a finger on it, and the ball just pinballs around on the floor in the lane, and Wyoming can't get a shot up. And it's that kind of season. They're 13-11 and 4-9 in conference. And the Aggies, 20 wins, 3 losses, 11-2, tied for first place with San Diego State. And I don't know if you noticed, but New Mexico, after getting beat by Utah State in the pit, New Mexico went and lost to Boise State 91-90. So now San Diego State and Utah State are 2 games clear of the next 3 teams, with New Mexico and Nevada and Grand Canyon all bunched up there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. So for the Aggies, keep winning. They got Fresno State coming up next, and then next weekend they've got Memphis coming in, which looked like it could be a fun game. Memphis has had some pretty good teams, and they're 12-11 right now. This doesn't look like one of them. They're 7-4 in conference, and I think the most important thing is they're 2-6 on the road. Yikes! So really, the Aggies are 20-3, and they ought to win these next 2 games. They ought to beat Fresno, and they ought to beat Memphis, and they ought to get to 22-3 and keep piling up the wins. And then the schedule starts to get tougher because they got to play New Mexico again. They got to play San Diego State again. They got to go to Nevada. Nothing easy about that. So we'll see how that works out. They still got the other top 4 teams in the league. Well, they got Boise State, too, and Vegas, so they got the next 6 teams in the league all to line up and play. But, Fresno State's up next at 11-12 and 5-7, very winnable. Before we move on, let's listen to Jerrod Calhoun and get Utah State coach's thoughts on the game. Here is the coach after the game.
Props to Wyoming. They fought their butts off in this game.
Yeah, I mean can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, I knew what this was going to be. It was going to be an absolute war. We're coming off 2 emotional games. You got to give Wyoming a ton of credit. They drove the ball. We got a lot to learn from this state, but, really fortunate the last time we'll be in this building ever to get a win. So really, really fortunate to get out of there with the win, and a lot of credit to Coach Sundance and his staff for having his team ready to roll.
Every time it looked like you guys were ready to pull away, you had 11-point leads multiple times in this game, once in the first half and a couple times late in the second half, including 3 minutes left, but they just kept reeling you back in. And, you want to praise your team after a win, but there's, like he said, there's a lot to learn from here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of them are first of all, you got to celebrate wins. You're 20-3. It's hard to win anywhere, but, Drake was in there, had them huddled before I even went in and addressed them and, just basically told them we didn't play to our standard. We played up and down and whatever. There was a tweet about, I forget, it was like most erratic team. I forget the word. I showed them a day ago, and it's true. When we want to guard, we're really good. When we don't, don't, obviously, Scotty, we give up 83 points. So much different defense than we've seen the last couple games.
What were they doing to get those baseline threes and some of those good looks on the outside?
Yeah, I just thought we were in rotations. Without seeing the film, I just thought we didn't guard the bounce. I thought Addy got beat off the bounce a lot. And here's the thing with team defense. You got to have a secondary defender in the gaps. They played small. I knew this would work to their advantage. I was hoping their bigs played. But they had a lot of space because they have a lot of shooters. When you play 4 guards, it's different than guarding the bigs. We hadn't seen a team like that. So we were getting blown by the first line of defense. There was no secondary help. And we were in rotations a lot. We did it right. It looked really good, Scotty, but you could see a lot of this game we were in rotations.
From an offensive standpoint, Mason really put the team on the shoulders again.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the game. He made huge plays, his drives. He played off 2 feet, those floaters, those finishes. I thought he was just willed us to the win. Because it was, really sloppy at times. It was back and forth. And as you said, when you get up 10 or 11 with whatever it was, 3:30 to go, you got to value the ball. We had one guy keep inbounding the ball. Like you're not to take the ball out, So there's only so many timeouts you can call in a game. I got to coach it better, obviously. Who's taking the ball out? We've had one guy take the ball out on a press breaker all year, and twice we, almost turned the ball over. I think once we did. Just very, we let the crowd, and you know how it is when you get in the game, Scotty, and the momentum shifting, you do things that you're not supposed to do.
Well, you never want – I had a coach once tell me, he goes, never thumb your nose at 20 wins. And congratulations, 20 wins. I know you got a lot of basketball yet to be played, but that's a plateau you always have to take a lot of pride in.
Yeah, it's a standard at Utah State, and the standard is to get to the NCAA tournament. We have 8 games left. We're in the hunt for a league championship and an NCAA tournament berth. So we can't skip steps. You asked me on the pregame show, how was practice yesterday? It wasn't good. I'm never going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Am I going to just go on air every time and say, it was a great – no, we got after him. We had to stop practice 2 or 3 times. We were lethargic. We have tendency, I think, after a couple big wins, to not understand there's a process to win a game. So I've got to be a madman the last month of the season to get this group to the finish line with our prep because we have a lot of prep slippage, and we've got to correct that because if not, you'll get beat. We have a tremendous hard schedule coming up.
This is only for my curiosity because I'm always fascinated with stuff.
Ask it.
So if you make that last free throw, it's a 3-point game.
We were fouling.
What time though? Do you do it immediately?
Right over half court or before. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a time thing.
We call it slap, but the way we executed the last 4 minutes, I don't know if we would have did it. Everything we told them to do, we kind of had the opposite game plan. So discombobulated staff, players, the last 3-4 minutes, just listening. Understanding, who's supposed to take the ball out, spacing, time and score. We have a lot of guys, Scott, if you look at this roster, have never been the guy. You know what I mean? You don't have Darius Brown getting the basketball in his hands, saying, get out of the way, let me run the show, let me take you back to Logan.
That's a great example.
Yeah, Drake Allen is in his last year, but last year he was not. This is his first year doing it. Same thing with Mason Falslev. MJ Collins played 20 minutes a game last year. He wasn't a guy at the end of games. So we're figuring that out. And now, guess what? They are the guys. So they gotta stick together in those tough moments. Carson Templin has to be a guy now, right? He's a junior. So that's what I explained to him after the game, guys. Continue to take the steps so you can get there and learn how to win in any type of game, right? So we're figuring that out.
All right, Utah State with a win. 20 wins on the season now, 20-3, and they got Fresno State and Memphis up next. So for the Aggies, this is a great chance to win some more games and just keep it going. They got a nice little streak going here, and we'll see if they can just pile up some W's and get that ticket punched so that when they go to the conference tournament, they're just playing for seeding. Don't need any drama. Just go in there playing for seeding. Know you're already in and know you're all set. And who knows, maybe there's a Mountain West Conference regular season or tournament title or both out there for them in their last year in the league. Either way, it looks like it's going to be them in San Diego State. So whoever the Mountain West will not have a back-to-back champ next year is what it looks like right now, the way things are stacking up in that league now that those two are 2 games clear. So for the Aggies, get ready for a couple games at the Spectrum now. They've won 5 in a row, and their next 3 games are in Logan. All right, DJ and PK, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got to talk about that the Big 12 basketball, the Utes on the road to Kansas, and BYU beating it home by Houston. That's next. Stay with us. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. A reminder to join Scotty G tomorrow from noon to 3 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East in Sandy. All right, Big 12 basketball over the weekend. Utah loses at Kansas. Not surprising there. I did think they made some progress on the defensive end. Now you could see, Alex Jensen's hand coaching, coming along. That's a place where it can get away from you pretty quick. And I thought it got away from them a little last 6 or 7 minutes. They lose 71-59, but, you can give up 90 there in a heartbeat. And for a team that has struggled to hold teams under 80, I thought, that was a step forward. That's a performance they can build on. Stay away from the phrase moral victory, but they did some things right in that game. Offensively, I thought Alex and his coaching staff did some good work to get a bucket on an inbounds play, run some backdoor stuff, try to find your team a bucket out of a timeout and get some easy hoops, because scoring was a struggle, and especially in the second half. Man, there were some dry spells there. And then there's BYU, and the Cougars lose to Houston 77-66. Houston with a run in each half to open up a lead, and BYU fought back and had the lead. It was competitive there in the second half, but man, when Houston couldn't score but had to have a bucket, they did a great job of getting offensive rebounds. Ultimately, the offensive rebounds ended up pretty even. BYU offensive rebounded too, is 14-13, but man, with the game hanging in the balance in the final 5-6 minutes there, I thought Houston got the offensive rebounds they had to have. And BYU really hurt themselves at the free throw line. 16 of 28, 57%. Everybody who went to the line missed a free throw. So nobody is blameless, although Saunders at 4 for 5, 80%, you can understand a little bit. But A.J. DeBonsa missed 5. He was 7 of 12. That's not good enough. Kebaketa was 2 of 5. He's going to struggle, but still hope he can do a little better than 40%. He's at 55% or whatever they were saying during the game. It's got to be better. So you just can't give away points to Houston. There aren't that many points to be had. So for BYU, they dropped now to 17-6 on the year. They are 5-5 in the Big 12, right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of the conference. And they've lost 4 in a row and 5 out of 6. And then the Oklahoma State one is the glaring one. The other 4 teams are ranked. You want to beat some ranked teams, but that Oklahoma State loss, that just shouldn't have happened. So now, nothing to do but pull themselves together and get ready for Baylor. Let's get to the postgame, and let's hear from the Houston Cougars and Coach Sampson and what they had to say after they win in Provo.
The late offensive rebounding, particularly Cleveland's putback and Ramon's, how big was that?
All right, we didn't start offensive rebounding tonight. It's been a staple of ours for a long time. I'm really especially proud of Khalifa. First of all, he's a tremendous young man. High level young man. Speaks 5 different languages fluently, extremely intelligent human being, high character kid, as all our kids are. I don't think you could have the sustained success we've had over the years unless you have high character kids. Because character matters. You have to have really, really good kids. But we didn't have him in June, July, August, September, most of October, and then he missed another 2 weeks. So he's finally getting healthy. We just haven't had him. And he and JoJo, last year we had JoJo Tugler and Javier Francis. And, that was a very underrated strength of ours, is having 2 5s that both were high-level players. And as Khalifa improves, he gives us the ability to not have any drop-off when JoJo comes off the floor. So I thought our 2 5s tonight played their role, did their job especially well. I thought we did a good job defensively on them as a whole. The Debanza kid is special. You know, you're not going to stop him. I mean, that question should never be asked of any coach. How do you stop him? I don't know how. We just made him earn the shots he got, and he made some tough ones. But I thought we did an awesome job on Saunders. I thought we did an awesome job on Wright. He got some. But the thing I was concerned about for them was would we be able to get to the free throw line? And so, that was that was tough. But BYU's not an easy team to play against, especially in this building. They've got something special here. Unbelievable student group. It's our second time playing them here, and our students, the crowd, is one of the best home court advantages I think in the country. Obviously we play a lot of places. This is as tough as it comes, which is why I'm really proud of our group. We've always been able to stay true to our culture and how we do things on the road. I think that's a byproduct of how we practice and prepare. Maturity. Our two freshmen stood up when we needed them to. But these two guys here, they were on a team that had a chance to win it all last year, and when they decided both to come back, I knew that they would give us a good chance. But just really proud of both these guys. All our kids graduate. It starts there. They're all going to be college graduates, except the ones that will go to the NBA early. And they're all high-character kids. And that's why my job is easy, because I don't have to deal with any discipline problems. And that's a blessing. In this day and age, it's a blessing to have high-character kids.
Kelvin, at about the 6-minute mark at the end, it got tight ball game. Kingston goes on that run where I think 7 out of 9. I mean, we talked about his moments this year, but to have a freshman in a big atmosphere like this, I mean, what does that say about how he continues to develop?
Well, when I told him, I said, Kingston, you noticed how wide open you are from the 3 tonight? Have you noticed that? He said, yeah. I said, well, that's not an accident, son. They're not guarding you. So you can either take the shots they want you to take, or you take the shots that we want you to take. And if you want to win, get the ball to the paint. If you get it on the rim, we got a good chance. If you make it, fine. If not, we got a good chance to rebound it. Then we'll kick it back out and we'll start another possession. But he stopped shooting threes. And we focused on getting downhill. Our spacing was really good tonight. Our execution was really good. But also our shot selection. To win on the road, you've got to play with high basketball IQ. You've got to understand the importance of discipline and get the ball to the right people at the right time in the right spots. And we always fall back on that. We've won some. We got some tough road games left. But our first road game was Auburn back in when was that? November.
Yeah, November.
Yeah, that was our first kind of road test, and that helped us grow up a little bit early. And then, everybody's got a tough home court advantage in this league. BYU, outstanding players, outstanding coaching staff, outstanding home court advantage. So it's a good win for us.
We'll go to the back left.
You guys obviously got quite a few team fouls early in the second half. What did you do to try and adjust defensively, minimize BYU getting to the line after that point?
Well, we had. I don't want to tell you what our plan was with any of their kids specifically, but I will say that one of the things BYU does really good when we watch them on film is they get you so spread out. So I think one of the things that helped us is we stood our ground. We stayed loaded to the ball. And if you stay loaded to the ball on drives, we'll build a wall. Now, they made some threes early in the half, but those are the shots we were willing to give them. We didn't want Saunders getting to the rim. We didn't want him getting to the free throw line. We loaded and took away his driving lanes pretty good. And if you get to your spot early, then you're being proactive. If you get to your spot late, now you're going to be reactive, and that's where the fouls come. So I think our being proactive and getting to our spots early and then reacting on the ball when it was thrown out and just contest as hard as we can. But at some point, I knew that Coach Young was going to stop and give the ball to Devanza. And it's tough to guard that because he scores, his efficiency is, how many points he scored tonight? Yeah. And he only took 14 shots to get him. That's high level. But he's going to be doing that with Kenny and Charles and Ernie and Shaq commenting on him here pretty soon. And he'll probably be doing the same thing. So no shame giving up 28 to that kid. He's special.
We'll take questions for student athletes now if you got them. We've got time for a couple more. Joseph, go ahead.
Emmanuel Milos, you heard Coach say about you still have some tough games on the road coming up, but to get this one, first one out of the way in an important month, what does that kind of say where you guys are at? How do you feel like where you're at right now?
Go ahead, Milos.
Yeah, no, this is a big win, especially on the road. We got who we got us on the road? We got Iowa State on the road, Utah, Kansas.
No, don't buy into that question. We got Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
It's the only one that matters.
Yes, sir. But yeah, no, we got a tough schedule ahead of us.
Yeah, like you said, we got Utah. That's the toughest one we're gonna have. We're just trying to focus on getting better. You know, this is a good win, but you know we're gonna watch more film, see what we can do better, and carry that on to the next game and the game after that, and but it's a good feeling knowing that I can feel us getting better.
Chris.
Milos, what's the key to the defense on Saunders? What can you guys implement?
Be careful.
Yeah, right. Jeez. I mean, he's a great shooter. I think for me, I was just trying to make sure he tried to put it on the ground, and then try to contain him and stay in front. And my guys were loaded behind me, so it kind of helped me out a lot.
One more together. You want to go, Joseph?
Emmanuel, on the offensive rebounds, you had one in that stretch. Khalifa had one. I forget who the other two were. But coming off of a couple of weeks ago when you were in Lubbock and maybe they weren't there, what's been the big emphasis or change that you guys are what you did tonight? It's
not rocket science. I just got to do a better job of getting my nose in there and doing the dirty work that I'm used to doing, and just being focused on playing Cougar basketball. It's nothing new. This is how we play. That's how we've been playing since Coach has been here. So just getting back to our roots, crashing the glass. Because that's what wins games, and I think that's what won us the game today was our rebounding in the second half, especially Khalifa. Khalifa came in there. He was doing work, so and that really helped us down the stretch.
They're the Houston Cougars after the game. Now let's hear from the Cougars, A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright. DeBonsa scored a lot of points, provided a lot of buckets, a lot of scoring, but ultimately it's not enough. And you got to think for these guys, for these elite players. I mean, when's the last time A.J. DeBonsa lost 4 in a row and 5 out of 6? I mean, this has to be a pretty new experience for him. I think he's in a new place here. He had 28 points, 5 boards and 4 assists, but they go down to defeat. Here's A.J. DeBonsa after the game as the Cougars fall to Houston, along with Rob Wright, DeBonsa and Wright at the podium.
A.J., what was the scouting report tonight going up against Houston, and how close do you guys feel like you executed that, what the coach said implemented?
Yeah, me personally, I kind of knew they were going to blitz the ball a lot. That's kind of what they're known for, being aggressive. But the main thing was just them being on the glass more. It's kind of the identity that kind of crashed the glass as good as anybody, if not better than everybody. So we just tried to match their physicality on the glass. But obviously we came up short.
And then to follow up on that, I mean, at the end of the game, they were having a lot of success on the second chances. What do you attribute the issues there at the end?
I mean, it's what we just got to block out. We just got to do it. I mean, there's no excuse for it. It's just more of an effort thing.
Rob, were you guys happier with the effort tonight after the game the other night, as far as just the overall effort and how hard you guys played?
Yeah, we definitely came in wanting to make a statement and wanting to show that we could play hard for 2 halves. So I feel like we did a good job of changing that.
Rob, what do you think it's going to take? You guys have been so close against these teams that are, highly ranked. What do you think it's going to take to get over the hump against one of these teams?
I think it was like when it got under 5 minutes, I think it's just finishing the game out strong, just closing it out. We kind of had a couple turnovers, a couple mishaps, and they got second chance points, so that hurt us at the end.
Question for both of you. Coach Young talked about how you guys at this point in the season are just kind of searching. Just comments on that.
Yeah, Richie actually told us last year that they went on a losing streak. They had 3 games in a row. They lost twice. So he was just like, bro, you just got to find it. And they still ended up going to the Sweet 16 and having a chance to win it over there in Jersey. So, I mean, we're trying to find our identity. I mean, we kind of know what it is. Obviously, we just got to close out games right. I mean, it was kind of a problem just being down 15 in the first half, but we kind of showed that we could fight in the first half. I think we were only down 7 due to that putback. But it's just closing out games for us, I think, now.
AJ, Coach said he took you out after you made the free throws because you were about to pass out, he said. Was it that dire?
Nah, I was good. Nah, he probably thought I needed rest. He usually tries to take me out right before the media timeout so I can get an extra minute, but nah, I was good. I don't know why he said that.
Rob, Coach was in here and said it was the hardest he'd gone at you guys after the Oklahoma State leading up to this game, just practice, film, all that type of stuff. You guys feel like you matched up to what he was challenging you guys to?
I mean, I think we definitely did. We definitely showed flashes of it. I think it's just putting it all together and then just, like you said, closing the game out, just finishing out strong, not letting them get those second chance points because it ended up hurting us.
Rob, what are your thoughts going back to Baylor Tuesday night?
I think they just play Iowa State tough. So, I mean, obviously it's on the road. It's a Big 12, so it's going to be a tough game. Just trying to get a win.
Does it mean anything more to you than a normal game?
Nah, it's just trying to get a win.
2 more questions.
AJ, where do you guys feel, we talk about second chance points, but is there anything that was free throw line that you guys looked at and said, hey, that's the key ones?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at myself for that. I missed 5. It's unacceptable on my behalf, but I think we missed 12 as a team, and we lost by, less than 12. So, I mean, if you got to step up there and make free throws, it's a different game. It's a different ball game.
Okay, last question.
AJ, you discussed it a little bit, but how do you guys turn the page after this 3-game stretch here?
I mean, just execute the game plan still. I'll just trust in the coaches and the staff, what their scout is for the other team, and just go out there and execute it. I think we bounced back well from Oklahoma State. A lot of teams in our position that's lost 3 games in a row would have just folded to a team like Houston and got smacked by 30. But I think we showed a lot of grit. So we're just going to trust the coaching staff, and we're going to execute what we need to do in Waco on Tuesday.
All right, there's A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright. Now here's the head coach, Kevin Young.
Kevin, on the glass, we've seen a lot of success late on second chances. What do you attribute as the issues there that you guys struggled to close out the game on that side?
Not sure. Got to see it on the tape, but one-on-one battles is what it looked like from the sideline. Disappointing because that missed free throws. It felt like we had our chances and didn't capitalize. And the disappointing part is in the timeout, literally right before that, I said, hey man, look, this game's gonna get won or lost on the glass, and we weren't able to come up with it. I got to look at the tape. Some of the coaches were saying AJ was leaking out a little bit, got to get back in the fight. But, it's easy to go at the bigs in that scenario because the bigs were the ones that were getting the ball, it felt like. But
then that's where I go to the one-on-one battles. Got to be better.
How'd you feel about the overall discipline from your team and kind of fight after a tough practice skid and battling in this game?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. We're upset that we didn't win the game. We another great opportunity that we let go, which is unfortunately for us has been too many against the highest of caliber teams in the country. We can't seem to finish the job, and that's disappointing. However, I was happy with the response. I thought since I've been at BYU, that was the hardest I've gone at the team, in terms of the things I was saying to them, the film I was showing them, the practice and so forth. So I did think they responded, which for me, this was going to be I'm going to learn a lot about our group type of game. Again, disappointed we didn't pull the win out, but I thought the response out of the guys, given the stretch that we're going through, was admirable.
Kevin, I've asked you in the past about free throw struggles. Can you do anything about it outside of guys just shooting them?
No.
Kevin, you missed quite a few shots at the rim, shots that we've seen you guys make, particularly Kelvin and Beto. Is that basically hurrying too fast because Houston's such a good defensive team? What do you attribute that to, maybe?
I don't know. You're being nice to those guys. Go make a shot. I don't know what else to say. I mean, the two of them were 3 of 10 combined, and then 3 of 8 from the free throw line. So those are basically 7 missed layups and 5 missed free throws between your two centers. Not good enough.
There was a point AJ made a couple free throws and then you took him out for just a 2-minute stretch. Is that fatigue, or why did he need to come out of the game?
He's about to pass out.
Was he?
Yeah.
Kevin, we had Coach Sampson here talking about the fact that they really focused on shutting down Richie and not allowing him to get to the rim. Do you see that yourself?
Yeah, they were great on Richie. Thought they did a good job. One-on-one defense, and then on the threes as well. So that was a big part, clearly, of their game plan, which, they did a good job on him.
2 more questions.
Kevin, when you're in a situation with a team where they're having a hard time getting a win, what's the balance between changing things up to try to get them out of it and sticking with what you're grinding on right now?
Yeah, no, it's. I think when you lose in a fashion that's ugly, I think it's easy to make changes. When you're losing in a fashion that you feel like you're right there, it's a little bit harder. But that being said, I mean, everything's on the table as far as us examining things, and it's a situation that we're in where. Because of some of the injuries that we've had with the season-ending injuries, we're searching a little bit, obviously off the bench, and so, you can make an argument to maybe then put one of the starters on the bench and put a bench guy in so that you do have something a little bit more potent potentially coming off the bench. So everything's being examined, but again, it's a great question, and like I said, if you're losing in a way where you're like, oh man, you don't even feel like you have a shot, it's easy to make changes, but I sound like a broken record, but I mean, okay, so like what? Arizona, UConn, Houston, Texas Tech, you're right there to win all those games, doing it the way we've been doing it, but it's not good enough because we're not winning, and so those decisions keep me up at night for sure.
Just follow up, AJ, how fatigued was he in the game? I mean, he still goes for 28 on 14 shots, but just maybe speak to.
Yeah, and Jay, I wasn't trying to be snappy at your question. Like he I think some of that rebounding was fatigue on his part, right? And so I knew the media was getting ready to come, and so you thought you could steal like another extra minute or less than that, to be honest with you, because I was planning on calling a timeout and then just instead of him getting the full media, getting an extra 30 seconds. So that's what went into that decision. But as far as, I mean, he was great tonight. It was when he's rolling like that, you don't even want to take him off the floor. But I am going to challenge him a little bit about making sure he's doing all the right things, taking care of his body. Is he eating the right things? Is he drinking enough liquids? Is he getting enough sleep? Because we need him out there as much as we possibly can have him out there.
There's BYU basketball coach Kevin Young. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.